Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. It's really important. All right, how many know what we're talking about today? Prosperity. Ooh, ha. We want to vibe high with prosperity all through the month of September and get used to being in that vibe, get used to being in that spirit, that energy, so that it opens us up to more and more of our what? Our good. Does that make sense? Eric Butterworth, he said it this way: words of truth or affirmations do not become true because you affirm them. You affirm them because they are true. Isn't it good? You synchronize your consciousness with the reality of truth. When you base your life on truth, then everything else comes together. Jesus said what? Seek ye first, right? So prosperity is not only a way of living and thinking, and it's not only about money, right? But it's for your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. It is a successful, flourishing, or thriving condition. I remember that old song that said, I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we know that as we can condition ourselves to the truth, and that's what we're doing. We're learning how to be in alignment with what is really true rather than the false. Make sense? So we have the awareness that God's good is everywhere all the time. It's everywhere. The goodness of God. How many know that when you look out in the world, what do you see? What are you looking for? It's what you've been conditioned to look for. That's what you will see. And that's what you will experience, right?
Yep.
So there's this universal intelligence that we just happen to call God that has designed this world to be abundant so that all the creatures that walk around, that flitter around, that fly around, that crawl around on this planet will have everything that they need. Mm-hmm. You know, bananas. Have you ever noticed that bananas grow in bunches? There's an abundance of bananas. Grapes, they grow in bunches. That means that this universal intelligence wants there to be plenty for all of us. Isn't that wonderful? Did you know that apple trees can grow in any of the states in the U.S.? They can. They can grow. In fact, they have apple trees in every state. Now, there's some that grow better than others, you understand that. But Johnny Appleseed, man, he did a great job, He was doing good. How many here have gardens? You have a garden? Have you ever noticed that you have a garden and then all of a sudden you get this squash? Is it called squashes? Is that plural? Anyway, you get squash. And then you have a lot of extra. It's amazing, isn't it? So you share it with your friends. And that's what prosperity is about. That's what the universal principle is. There is plenty for everybody, so share. And it is through the sharing that more comes. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? You know, nature is a reflection of that divinity, that divine power that is constantly giving us a bounty of abundance to nourish, to feed, and to take care of us. And we are all supported. Do you feel supported this morning? Yeah. How many are wearing clothes? Oh, you don't have to raise your hand. It's obvious, right? You know, you had somewhere to sleep last night. You had some food. Isn't it amazing? By this divine source that wants you to be happy. Right? Divinity wants you to be happy. In fact, divinity is the very definition of happiness and joy, right? And to always have more than enough, an overflowing of abundance. What did Jesus say? He said, look at the birds of the air. They don't sow seeds. They don't reap a harvest. They don't gather crops into their bird barns. Or
Birdhouses?
And yet, the Heavenly Father or our divine source keeps feeding them, continuously feeding them. Are you not worth much more than they are? Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, he said, you must first enter into the understanding that God, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, is the source that you can draw on this without limit. I know you can draw on the source without limitations. Isn't it wonderful? If you have what you need, you just draw from it. There's another quote that says, if you don't have something, it's because you haven't asked for it yet. Tell the person next to you, say, oh. It didn't say that you begged for it, that you pleaded for it, that you asked for it. What does that word ask mean? It just means to be in alignment with. Be in alignment with, right? Let's say it together. I'm asking for it. And so I'm going to get it.
Yeah, so all of this is a wonderful manifestation on the outward of all of the abundance that is. We see it, the abundance that is. The key is that the source of all that abundance is within us, each and every one, and there is unlimited abundance. There is no limit to it. It's unlimited. And it's important for us to make peace with certain ideas that we have, especially about money. How many carry some childhood beliefs about money that perhaps are not serving you well at this point in your life? I know I do. It's important to heal those things and make peace with them, and we do that on the internal so that the external begins to reflect back to us new beliefs about prosperity, especially around money. Eric Butterworth, on the front of this handout here, it says, the important truth is you are a spiritual being with the allness of infinite mind within you. Whatever your needs may be, the answer is not to get God to give you more through some divine sleight of hand process, but rather to uncover and release your own imprisoned splendor. Avoid the temptation to try to work the law and thus to materialize the process. Get your mind off the idea of making a demonstration in life. Center your awareness on a deeper sense of life, and the demonstration will begin to make you. So we're talking today about elevating our vibe, keeping our vibe up, staying in that place of recognizing our own imprisoned splendor and releasing it, keeping that vibration high so that we can manifest into our lives the abundance that we're looking for, that we're seeking. So a lot of us think that money is the be-all, end-all of everything. If I just had more money, I would be happy. How many of us think that? If I just had more money, I would be happy. Everything would just be peachy. But see, having more money is just what we think will fulfill some vacancy that we feel that's not really money-related at all.
So you're saying there's an underlying issue that is creating the condition that the person is experiencing.
Yeah. So what we want to learn to work with is the law of mind action. That's one of our unity terms around here, the law of mind action. And it's really what you hear about when you hear people talking about the law of attraction. It's the same thing, the law of mind action, the mental equivalent of a thing. So think about the chair that you're sitting on. That chair exists because somebody thought about it. Somebody in their mind thought, it's getting kind of, my little tushy's getting kind of sore sitting around on these rocks and this bare ground. How about if we made something that we could elevate, that put us up off the ground, and maybe we could pad it a little bit? They begin to think. They begin to have an idea.
Yeah.
First an idea, and they begin to put that into action. Oh, who said that? Good. Into action, so that it brought about a thing. Can you see where we're going?
Yes.
So ideas need substance. They need action, or they'll begin to what? They begin to disappear. They begin to fade. How many of you have ever had a great idea, and then you thought about it a little bit, and you put it over here on this shelf, and then lo and behold, maybe 2 months later, you see that thing somewhere, or you see that thing being brought in. All right, lots of people are getting the same idea at the same time. It's the one that puts the action to the idea and brings it into substance, brings it into form. Otherwise, it's just going to fade away. So what you pay attention to grows, and what you ignore fades away. Ideas can lose essence and strength because we stop focusing on them, right? Emmett Fox said, "And now I want to say that for anything that you want in your life, a healthy body, a satisfactory vocation, friends, opportunities, and above all, the understanding of God, you must furnish a mental equivalent. Creating yourself a mental equivalent. We think it, and then we feel it, we embody it, and we begin to speak it. And the thing that it must come from you. It has to come from you. This mental equivalent. Is it making sense? So, how about the things in your life that you would like to get rid of? Anyone have anything in your life you'd like to get rid of? Perhaps it's bodily difficulties, or perhaps it's a character, or perhaps it's a behavior, perhaps it's a habit, right? We all have habits of thought and action. We all have family members, personal conditions, right, that we would like to be rid of. If we rid our
What are you trying to
well,
say? What do you mean by that?
Well, we would like for them to change.
Oh, that's right. I can't
honestly.
take it personally.
That's right.
Oh, I was so 2 weeks ago.
We would like for them to change, honestly, but we know we have no control over that, right? We can't do that, but we would, like that to happen. But if we rid our mind of the mental equivalent of those things, then they have to go. We have a great saying in Unity that what we feed upon, we bring about. What we ignore goes away, right? It's what we give our attention to. Those are the things that we wind up manifesting in our life. Focusing on unpleasant, drama-filled, negative things brings about more chaos and trauma and negative things, right? It's what we focus on.
Yeah. So when you think about something and you talk about it all the time and you're thinking about it all the time and you're feeling it and you're focusing on it all the time, that is what you become. You become the vibe of that, the vibration of that. Everything vibrates. You're vibrating now. All the atoms in your body are moving so fast that it's giving you the appearance of this beautiful physical body that you see before you. You thought I was going to say me, didn't you? So
if you want to go on a great weight loss diet, just quit vibrating. Because there'd only be enough of you to fit on the head of a pin, they say.
yeah, that's true.
So
Everything that you see or feel on this material plane, how many know you live in a material world, a physical world? And when you look out here and you see the physical bodies that surround you, you look and you see your house, your business, your job, your city. All of that is the expression of a mind equivalent, a mental equivalent, a mental emotional equivalent that you're holding. Everything exists because we believe in it. Right? How many know that we can change the out here when we change the in here? Hey, that was really good.
yes, it was.
Hey, that's good stuff. So in Unity, the third principle that we teach is that we are all co-creators with divinity. We create our lives together. I'm creating my life with you. We're creating our lives together, right? The reality exists as it does because that's what we believe that we deserve. I hit the table for emphasis. That's why we have the table, so we can do that, right?
So you're saying a really important question to ask ourselves is, do I deserve prosperity?
Yes. So how do you feel? Ask yourself that question right now. Say, do I deserve prosperity? Now, it's really good when you ask it when you're sitting by yourself alone in your favorite chair. Doesn't even have to be your favorite, as long as it's comfortable, right? You can go out here by the pond and sit and say, do I deserve prosperity? And see how you feel. So what comes up? What comes up? And then maybe you'll hear the voice of an ancient word that was spoken to you when you were a child. You better eat that, because that's all you get. You know? There's not enough to go around. And we hear these things. And it's because we're not really paying attention. Think about the bananas and the grapes. Think about the apple trees. Think about, the birds. I mean, how do these birds eat? It just so happens they like worms. And the squirrels, they like nuts. And they like seeds, and they like all these different things. And it just so happens there's plenty of that stuff. It's like, there's a certain time of the year when there's a certain nut that falls from the trees, and you got to be careful where you park your car because,
The acorns.
The acorns, yeah. They start coming down, right? And you say, well, what's all that about? That's the abundance. See? Pay attention to what you see. That's the abundance. When you notice it, when you notice the abundance, then it begins to fill your heart. And then you begin to be grateful, and you start having this gratitude for everything and everybody, for your life. You fall in love with your life. I love my life. Let's say it together. I love my life. If you don't love your life, maybe, it's because you haven't really fallen into your life. You're not really here. Because you're not present. Make sense? Everything in the city around us here is the embodiment of the mental, emotional equivalent that all the citizens of Greenville and Taylor's and Greer and all these other places, it's what we hold. When you drive around and you see this beautiful park area, why is that there? It's there because we wanted it to be there. We co-created it. Isn't that wonderful? So everything in this country that we live in is the embodiment of this mental, emotional equivalent that's held by the people in this country. And the state of the world, when you look at the world, it's the mental, emotional equivalent, the actions, the beauty, all of that we create. It comes from the people who live in the world and who are engaged. Wayne Dyer said, "When I chased after money, I never had enough. When I got my life on purpose and focused on giving of myself, then everything arrived into my life and I was prosperous." Isn't that beautiful? Because as you give, as you put out, and you receive it back.
So we're spending a whole month talking about prosperity so that you can begin to absorb this, begin to take it in and work with it. Because how many of us recognize that when we leave here today, we don't have it all? And you're not going to leave here and everything's just going to start,
It could happen.
It could happen, but for most of us, there's a process of working it, right? Doing the work, healing those beliefs, and coming into addressing some of these questions like, do I deserve prosperity? How do I feel about money? Do I have negative connotations about money? Was I given messages as a child that people that have money are probably, not good? I mean, there's all kinds of messages that we get. Am I a complainer? Do I complain all the time? These are things that hinder operating to the best of our abilities in that co-creating the good things for ourselves.
Yeah.
We wind up running on these programs that are running in the background, and we wind up creating not so good things for ourselves. So it takes some time to work those things out. Like everything else we do, it's a process. It's a constant work in process. So this month, really focus on some of the ideas that we're giving you and some of the things that we're talking about, and see if at the end of the month you can't have worked through some things.
Yeah, because vibes or vibrations are contagious. Tell the person next to you, say, "I'm contagious." Right?
Well,
So we want to give you a tool. We want to give you a tool to use so that you can really put this into practice. How many know that in Unity we call it practical spirituality? Let's say together, I want to be practical about this, right? So we're going to talk about blessing and cursing. Blessing and cursing. Emmett Fox said, "Bless a thing and it will bless you. Bless a thing and it will bless you. Curse it and it will curse you." How do you curse something? By not giving it attention. What happens when you don't change the oil in the car? What happens when you don't get the alignment that you need for the tires to get them balanced? And what happens, right? What happens when you see that light come on and you just ignore it? Stuff happens, right? So when you're not giving attention to it, that means you don't want it, It's not what you want. So you have to focus on what you want, right? So if you bless the situation, then it will have no power to hurt you. If you bless the situation, it will have no power to hurt you. Even Jesus said, "Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who try to take advantage of you," right? Mm-hmm. So even if it's troublesome for a time, even if it's a challenge right now, if you bless it, then it will gradually begin to fade away. If you bless it. If you sincerely bless it. Right? How many know the power of life and death is in your mouth? When you speak those words, you are literally bringing all the forces of the universe into play. You are speaking the divine word, right? You're speaking the divine word. And when you speak the divine word, stuff happens. Remember, let there be light. And there was light. Right? Let there be. Allow it to be. That's the whole thing. It's because of the blocks in me that's keeping it from happening. You know?
Yep.
A lot of people spend a lot of time cursing their life. Oh, I just hate this. I hate that. I hate them. In fact, I think I hate you. Right? And we talk a lot about what we hate. Oh, I just hate that. What are you doing when you do that? You're speaking energy into the air around you. And the molecules and the atoms and all these things are formulating. And they're creating more stuff for you to hate. How many like that?
So your mission this week, should you choose to accept it, is to stop complaining.
Stop cursing.
Stop complaining. Catherine Ponder advises us to make statements of blessings. And it's just as easy to bless and praise something or someone as it is to condemn and complain. It's just as easy.
Yeah.
But when we complain, we intensify the unpleasant condition that we're complaining about, right? Because we're putting energy into it, we're focusing on it, you magnify it. Magnify the things in your life that are blessings.
Yeah.
And if there's something that's on the line, bless it. Bless it. You remember earlier I talked about that family member that you'd like to get rid of? Bless them. Stop complaining about them. Bless them. Pray for them. Remember, what you bless blesses you. Bless those things.
Yeah.
You could say, I bless you for the goodness of God that is within you. It is there. Maybe they don't recognize it yet and they're not operating from that place, but you bless it. You recognize it. You focus on it. You magnify it. I bless you for the goodness of God that is within you. You're holding a positive thought on their behalf, and it changes the way that you interact with. It changes the relationship where? In you. It changes the way that you interact with them. It takes the sting out of how you feel about them, and it begins to change the relationship. All relationships exist within myself. When I change myself, the relationship changes. So your challenge this week is to stop complaining. And if you really focus on it this week, so we had a friend that used to wear a rubber band, and every time he caught himself complaining, he'd snap the rubber band. We did that for a while, and I was snapping James's rubber band, and it got to be like, no, you're supposed to snap your own rubber band. Don't be snapping
Welcome to
mine.
my world.
But that's a good little reminder. Put a rubber band around your wrist, and every time you catch yourself complaining, snap it and bring your attention to it. Why am I? No, that's not what I want to be doing. I don't want to be complaining.
How about if I buy a big bag of rubber bands and I take them with me and I shoot them at the people that I'm having problems with? What do you think about that?
I don't think that will work quite as well as reminding yourself not to complain. But yeah, try to establish a habit of that this week. Really pay attention. It's so easy. You go into the grocery store, you come out, golly, how much did I have to spend? And how much has the cost of this gone up? And what? It's awful how much we find ourselves doing that when we really pay attention.
That's right. When you pick up that bag of green beans, bless it.
Yeah. Because this is how
Right?
we begin
Bless
to
it.
flip that switch.
Bless it.
How we begin to, raise our vibration, to raise our focus our energy about things to the positive,
Yeah.
right?
When I hold this cup in my hand and I breathe and just let go of everything else, and I just say thank you. I just bless it. Right? I just bless this water. It changes. It changes. That's why it's so important when you eat. In all the traditions, all the religious traditions that said pray before you eat, why did they say that? Well, in reality, it's the idea of your state of being when you eat. If you're not in a good state of being, then the food that you eat will give you indigestion, heartburn. Right? How many know why you get indigestion? So that you know to pick up a pack of Rolaids. No. Because your body's telling you something. It's telling you something. Maybe your state of being is out of integrity a little bit. Or maybe that food right now may not be what you need to be eating. I mean, we need to listen to our bodies. Our bodies are perfect. They know. The body knows what it's doing. It has to. It functions at a very high level. And if you listen to it, it'll tell you what's going on. Right? Mm-hmm. So I bless this water. So now I'm drinking holy water. All right? You always want to drink holy water. Always. You always want to eat sacred food that nourishes your body. And when you bless it, it becomes a blessing. You're in alignment with it. And then you can tell, when you pick up something, go, oh, something doesn't feel right. I don't think I'm going to eat that. Right? You walk through the grocery store and you go, oh, I don't know. I'm just not in the mood, we call it. I'm not in the mood for that. Well, there could be a reason. Right? Could be a reason.
Yeah. So we turn on this power of good. We turn on this power of elevating our vibration through our words and our thoughts by giving attention to what we're thinking about, by giving attention to what we're speaking, keeping our thoughts and our speech elevated in blessing rather than degrading it down through complaining and cursing. So that's an important thing for us to do this week. So how does that show up in someone who has a business?
Yeah. Well, you have the ability to turn things around. Okay? I bless my business with the power of good. I bless my business with the power of good. We know good is a power, and it's powerful, right? I bless my products with selling power, right? I bless these products with selling power. I bless every dollar that comes in and every dollar that goes out. I bless it. I bless it all.
Now, what happens when you're doing that and then you go to your business email and you get a complaint about your product?
Uh-oh.
Your product stinks. I don't like it. I want a refund.
What do?
I bless it, right? Don't fall into that trap of something like that taking you back down, right? Down in a lower energy place.
Don't make it a thing.
No, just bless it and keep on going.
Don't make it a thing. Just
Bless it,
give
keep
their
on
money
going.
back and go on. There's plenty more people out there that want your product because your product is full of selling power, right? It's full. It's full of dynamic selling power. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Or
Whatever it is that you're
yeah.
focusing on,
there was
business relationship.
There was a gentleman who was a credit manager of a small business, and he had one client that he really, really liked who had not paid him. You ever loan your friends money? Anyway, he had extended credit to him until he couldn't do it anymore. He couldn't sleep because he was so worried for this man and his family. So instead of cursing him, he began to decree, I bless you for the goodness of God that is working in and through you. And he kept saying that over and over and over as he was trying to get to sleep because he couldn't go to sleep. And eventually he went to sleep. The next morning, it's a true story, he woke up and the guy called him. He said, I'm coming over. He said, I'm going to make everything right. And he did. He came and he paid everything that he owed. Now, how did that happen? I don't know. I don't try to figure it out, right? Miracles can happen, right? Miracles can happen. And so use this in every area of your life, your relationship. So this morning we take this opportunity to bless each and every one of you in peace, with peace. We envision your highest good for your life. We envision you living your purpose, following your dreams, following your excitement and your joy, doing those things that create more and more good in the world for yourself and for everybody else. Yeah. We see you prosperous and successful. Everything you set your hand to do becomes successful because you're a holy, sacred being and you have the power to bless. You have the power to bless. So we envision the good in each and every one. If you know of someone that you would like to bless this morning, that you'd like to pray for, I invite you just to bring attention to them right now. Maybe whisper their name aloud or get a picture of them in your heart and your mind. Maybe they're experiencing some suffering, some pain, physical and emotional, mental, whatever it is. Let us bring them into this wonderful community of love and light and hold them in this moment of prayer and call forth divine order. Call forth the highest good, the healing of the mind, the healing of the psychology, the healing of the physical body. We bless them now. We bless them. We commit them into divine hands for sacred keeping. Take another breath. We envision our community continuing to grow and prosper in every way. We're so grateful. We're so grateful for each other, for these beautiful folks that made that commitment today to be a part of this haven of peace. And the only requirement is that you love, that you care, and that you show up and be someone in all of your glory and splendor, and all of your beauty and truth. That's all we're asking. So we're appreciative this morning for all of us, for all of each one of us, and the ways that we're all growing, so many different ways. We're so grateful. We bless the world, we bless the politics, we bless the election, we bless the people that are experiencing struggles and the wars and the strifes. We bless it all. And we envision the higher good, the highest good for all of us, for every person, because we are all sacred beings. We're all divine. That feels so good. So I invite you now for just a moment to go within, to sit in that silence within yourself and feel the raising and the rising up of that energy inside of you right here and right now. And so now, in the name of the sacred, the holy, and the good, we give thanks and gratitude. Amen. And so it is. All right, I invite you to reach and stretch.